Today, I want to talk about practice sessions and how they don't need to be long. It doesn't need to suck up a bunch of your time. If you're efficient and you're diligent with your practice, you can get it done without, without it being a 3-hour thing. Why is this important? Well, if you're efficient with your practice, you can go do it more. If it's not a heavy lift in terms of time, because you're always taking time away from other things, like taking time away from your family or your job, if you can practice efficiently, get it done in less time, then you can practice more. And I think in the end, you're going to be better. Uh, I'm talking about this today because I went out and I had a very, very nice practice session today in the desert. I rolled onto the range at like 6:45 a.m. and I was rolling off the range at 8:10 a.m. So what, hour 25? I fired, what was the count? I fired 600 rounds in total, maybe a bit more, about 400 with the rifle and about 200 with the handgun. Um, to make this practice session happen, what I wanted to work on, I should say, is um, longer, like mid-range plates with the rifle, along with paper targets to shoot at, and mixing up the sequence where it'd be like shooting both of them and then adding in movement, making it look like a stage or a scrambler type of scenario, and just practice that, like a mix of targets with a lot of movement. So I drive out there, so put out a couple of plates. They're going to be maybe 75 yards away at the furthest point where I'm going to shoot, a couple of these rifle plates, move up range 25 yards from that, set up a few paper targets, partial one of them off, move up range a little bit, set down some cones. So in order to set up the range with multiple firing positions, marked by cones and 3 paper targets and a couple of steels, that took me like 5 minutes. Just like drive my truck back there, open up the bed of the truck, put down the stuff I want, drive it forward, put it down. I'm set up in 5 minutes. Take the guns out, get the ammo out, stuff mags. And it's like, okay, I'm going to shoot rifle until I'm physically tired. Then I'll switch to pistol, which is what I did. Just stuff mags, shoot a run on on my little stage or scenario, like plate, plate, run 15 yards, paper, 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 run up 15 yards, plate, plate, that kind of thing. Like 10 round, maybe 16 round, 18 round little scenarios that I was doing involving a lot of running, a lot of movement. And then shoot, check the targets, shoot again, check the targets, shoot again, stuff mags, shoot, check the targets, shoot, check the targets, shoot, check the targets, stuff mags, and so on. Once I start training, I'm just shooting the run, looking at what I'm doing, like patching up targets, or like, okay, what's happening here, that kind of thing, filling mags, kind of thinking about what I'm doing, and then right back to shooting. I mean, with this shoot a couple of 75-yard plates with the rifle, then run 15 yards on a sprint, stop, shoot some paper targets over here, run a sprint another 15 yards, shoot the steel targets again, that kind of thing. You get tired pretty quickly. So after 300, 350 rounds, I'm starting to fatigue. My shooting's not as good, but I'm just trade off the rifles when they get hot, shoot it hot, trade it, shoot a different one, you know. All right, this one's hot now. I shoot the first one some more, that kind of thing. Inside of 45 minutes, I'm getting tired, and I just shoot through the magazines I have. Okay, it's about 400 rounds with the rifle, and then I get the pistol out, make sure that, all right, put that on. Now I'm going to go do close range target transitions on the paper targets and transition over. It's like paper, steel, back on the paper with no movement, just to make sure that I'm tuned up and dialed in with that Glock. I'm using that Glock for teaching with Joel in a few days. Anyway, the actual training part of my training session was like an hour 10, and an hour 10, like I'm all done. When I'm done shooting handgun, I'm like, yep, I got what I wanted out of this. I'm tired, but I'm shooting the way I want to. This looks fine. uh, it was 5 minutes to clean up. Just put the guns back in the truck, drive my truck back through the range, pick up all my target stands and stuff, put them in the back of the truck. I don't have to pick up brass there because the zombies, they call them, the zombies, come pick up the brass for me. and I drive off the range. All up, like I said, I think an hour 25 on the range for that much training, that much shooting. And to me, that was a longer session. Typically, I'm going to shoot less time and less rounds, but that range is kind of far for me to go to. So when I'm there, I tend to shoot a little bit more. What's my point with all this? Like, this doesn't take that much time to do. If you're just out practicing, like with your handgun, like single target, you're doing doubles or bill drills or four aces, like drills like that, setting up one target and shooting right by it. It's like this does not need to be a lot of time to go out there and practice. It really doesn't. And if you're efficient with your live training like this, well, you should be just as efficient with your dry training, where you have a dry fire area set up, and all the stuff you need is right there. You've got your, timer sitting there, dummy rounds, whatever you need, and you're just facilitating making the training easier and like less of a hassle, so then you can do it more. Efficient training is going to make you better over time. Like really it is. And the more efficient you can be with your time and your energy, of course, the more you're going to grow as a shooter.